Okay, we've got a skull here. Got some curves drawn for a skull. I notice that the mouth is open. Ideally, if we could have the mouth be closed, we would go ahead and do that because we have a bitmap that we can use that we use to teach matrix art with. So let's go ahead and try that first. To show that bitmap, I'll go up to Place Background Bitmap, and here's where the skull lives. It's on Drive C, DG Matrix 5.3, Demos, and then Pictures. And in the Pictures is skull. So in order to show that, I'm just going to go ahead and set this thing down here in the looking down viewport with Place Background Bitmap. And then I'm going to go to the yellow layer, and I'm going to go draw a rectangle that pretty much outlines that thing. There we go. Now let's go to Matrix Art, and let me drag this over here, and I'll select this and hit in on the curves, and it comes in, and the first thing I want to do is load a profile called flat. Okay, it'll be called flat, and I'm going to change the height of this to 0.04, so it basically has no thickness at all, but I can still see the surface. Okay, then we'll go over to Picture, and we'll load that bitmap. So we go over to Drive C, DG Matrix 5.3, Demos, Pictures, and Skull. Open. And then that'll load, and the first thing we want to do is say Fill Shape, and that'll fill the shape with the skull. Okay? And we can control how high the skull is, how thick, with the bitmap height. So that works out really well. So I don't know how tall you want it. There's about almost 3 millimeters, give or take, right? And because the skull is on black, we have the luxury of going down here and hitting Trim to Bitmap, and it'll trim that to the actual bitmap. And there's our skull. So I'm going to update my resolution somewhat. Update resolution, there he got sharper, and hit Create Mesh, and so far so good. Okay, so we're done with matrix art for now. Now, as far as the crossbones, I would go ahead and probably make these in matrix art as well. Let's go ahead and get rid of that background bitmap. There we go. And we can scale this skull however we want. If it needs to be wider, I guess we'll go ahead and do that. So let's go to 1D scale from F4, and we'll scale that dude out like so. You know, give or take. There he is. Okay. And I would go ahead and just concentrate on doing one side of this. And I'm going to go ahead and rotate this on over so it's pointing at this. And let's turn off the skull. And I'll go ahead and put these curves on gray and turn them off. And I'm just going to go ahead and draw a circle for now from right about here. And I'm going to trim these. Trim. So we'll trim these off. Enter. Get rid of those. And I use blend to connect lines to lines, kind of like so. Let's see how this does. Yeah, that'll work. So let's go join. This got a little choppy. I don't know if it's going to like that or not so much. I'm going to rebuild this down to about 50 points, give or take. Preview. That relaxed it some, maybe a bit too much. Let's go 100. There we go. Okay. So then we're going to take this object and go into matrix art. So let's go ahead and do that. There's art. Come back, curves in, and this time I'm going to pick, load profile, I'm going to pick dome 1, and there it made that domed. We can maybe move this over a little bit, makes it a little flat on top, but gives us a little straighter wall. So let's go ahead and move this over here. So there's our bone, and we can decide how high we want it to be. There's a 1.5 millimeters. Don't know what we want there. So let's hit create mesh on that and close art, and we'll put that on this layer. Let's turn on. Yeah, that's going through his nose, but the drape is going to help that anyway. So let's go ahead and mirror this from F4 this way. So there, pretty quick, we have a pretty 3D looking skull and crossbones here. And next, because we want to go ahead and do pave, and we want to be able to do booleans and so on, we can't do that in a mesh. So we're going to use the drape command and see if we can get it to work with what we want here. So let's go ahead and do that. So over here under surface is a command right here in the second set of buttons, and it's called drape. So we click drape, and we turn auto spacing to no. And the reason for that is that we want to control the U and the V count of cross sections that we get for the surface. So I'm going to go up to about 200. Okay, we'll just go 200 on each one. All right, and then it says drag a window over the area to drape. So we do, and that's going to take just a moment. Creating the rendering mesh. Okay, so there's our mesh. And let's take a look. We'll put that on this bright layer here and turn off. Okay. So there's what drape did for us. It went ahead and filled that in. Now we get this right here, and I would tend, let's see if we can fix that. There's that right there. I'm just going to go ahead and put a surface in there, and could probably just be we'll slightly dome it. So let's do this real quick. Let's draw a shape that looks like that. And we'll click on that curve, and we will extrude it. So let's go extrude out this way. So there's a surface there that just makes that flat in there. Okay. Now let's do drape again. So drape 200. Oh, it entered in its own values there. We'll go with those. So it does it really pretty quick. And it takes a while for the creating rendering mesh. There we go. Alright, let's take a look at this again. So let's put this on this layer, turn off this one and this one, and that little surface I made there. So that went ahead and the drape just stopped there. It's kind of convenient. Okay, so there's that at this point, and this is a NURBS. The beauty of this is a NURBS surface. So we can do just about anything we want to that. Let's go ahead and, in this viewport, let's cut this to where we want it. You can do this all sorts of ways. You can actually typically just draw a line, and I'm going to come up just a little bit, like so. And I simply drew a line across the mesh. And we can say you get split by this line. Okay, oops, no objects were split. You know what I think? Let's see if this is true. Let's turn on edit point. Let's go across there. I think that has to be past it. Let's see if that's true. No, it's not going to split it with a line today. That's fine. We'll go to surface, go to... I went ahead and drew a planar surface right here, a plane. Now let's say you get split by you. Of course, it's not going to cooperate. Let's see here. Alright, so my split was unsuccessful with the line and with the plane, which I certainly didn't see coming, but since I'm doing a movie, of course, it didn't. What I was going to do next anyway, which I'll go ahead and do now and see if it'll split after this, is I was going to go to transform and go to smooth, because this is a bit bumpy, and this was what I was going to head next. So let's select this and say smooth, and I'm just going to take the default and hit OK. And that'll go ahead and relax that surface. Now I'm just going to right click and say OK again. There it goes, it got smoother. Hit OK. Smoother yet. OK. So I'm just right clicking to get smooth back. And that should help our pave efforts anyway, to just kind of relax that. Let's do it again here. Let's see. Smooth. Okay. And what's one more time? Alright. So there we've gone ahead and smoothed him out some. Now I'm going to jump right to the chase and go to solid and box. And I'm going to make a box that encompasses this whole edge and move it down a bit. There we go. And say this gets split with this box. Hey, it cut it. Okay, so the render mesh is coming along. So we'll go ahead and let it do that. Okay, so let's get rid of this. And there's our piece that is cut right there. See ya. And there's a nice NURBS surface that I would check the direction normals on. So let's go ahead and do that. Utilities, normals. And there they're pointing in, and there they're pointing out. So those are ready to get the Pave Builder run on it, or place gem. You know, what a lot of people have been using lately is place gem on surface manually. So there's our surface, and here's this builder. Gem shape is round. Place gem on surface, and there it is, and that's a little large, so I'll hit A. There we go. Whatever size you want, click. And we'll start doing some pave on this guy. So there we go.